This is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow, expansions.com. I'm sitting in for Stewart today to give you some of the news that's going on. Every once in a while I like to tell you what's on my mind, what I've seen, how I've put it together, and just give you a little bit different perspective. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about, for starters, was one of the things that everybody's talking about, of course, is the death of Whitney Houston. Now, there's so much that's already been written out there. I don't want to exactly go over the same things again, but one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is that she did die on a number 11 day. It was the 11th of February, and there are 29 days in February, which basically a 2 plus a 9 is an 11. So 11/11 is another new beginning for humanity, for whatever. I do believe it was a blood ritual, a blood sacrifice. She was found underwater in her bathtub, apparently. What she was doing in there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, underwater, I can't tell you. They are attributing it at this time, at least they're conjecturing, that she died from alcohol and prescription drug overdose. But, you know, who knows what really happened? Who knows what really killed her? Apparently it was time for a certain sacrifice to go, and again we're going to look at the black race, the indigenous people genetics that was sacrificed, something deep within the earth. I also had a question about her. People are asking me, well, isn't the black race harder to program? And yes, all indigenous people are more challenging to program. And that is one of the reasons why at some point in time people fought for the right to be able to intermarry racially, because at one time that wasn't allowed. If you fight for something, then you feel like you have a choice. You don't have a choice, you fight for it, now you have a choice. They wanted blacks and white to intermarry because the white genetics or Caucasians are more easily controllable. And so if they mix that with the black frequency, it makes the black race more controllable. And Whitney Houston does have some kind of white genetics in there down her line. Now, a long time ago when the black people were slaves, of course we know there was a lot of rape going on, and at that point in time there were a lot of children born of both frequencies intermixed. Even if it was not officially acknowledged, it did happen. And for that reason, a lot of the black people in the United States who have been here for years and years have a lot of the white frequency in them. I also want to remind you that because February is a 29-day month, or number 11, to expect a lot of rituals that are going to be happening during the month of February. A lot of programming is going to be activated and triggered and reinforced. So be sure that you have your brown merger symbol at the pineal gland 24/7. Use your protection. For those of you who watched the Grammy Awards, I heard that the Grammys, because of Whitney Houston's death, had reached one of their record-breaking numbers and people watching them. Now this is, of course, achieving exactly what they wanted to. They wanted you to watch those Grammy Awards. I personally didn't watch them, but one thing that I do enjoy watching afterwards is all the dresses that they parade, you know, the worst dressed, best dressed, blah, blah. What was interesting to me is the costumes that people wore. These were not dresses, these were costumes. One woman came in with someone who looked like the Pope, and she was dressed in red, and I don't know what that figure was that was embroidered on her skirt, and she had a big red hood on. This is all ritualistic things. These were not dresses, they were costumes. And if you look at the women that they have, either the worst dressed or the best dressed, you're going to find out that there's other things going in on these Grammy Award dresses that they want to program in you, that they want to place in you. That there were animal altars represented, there was Alice in Wonderland things going on, there was New World Religion. You talk about it, it was there. It was absolutely amazing. Another thing that I saw, this is also kind of strange to me, on the internet I saw an article that had 1 billion pictures of Barack Obama kissing women and hugging men. Now, the title was something like, "Why is Obama kissing other women? How would Michelle feel about this?" Why would they show the president kissing all these women and hugging all these men? This is another imprinting for something. And they even showed him kissing his wife, and talk about fake kisses. I don't know what was going on, but it is imprinting. My feeling is it's showing you that you're not supposed to just kiss your spouse. You can do that, but you can kiss other people too. So while it sounds relatively innocent, it is more inroads into New World religion. That's what it's opening up things for. We see the gay marriage laws. I think Washington State became the 7th state to pass gay marriage. And again, personally, I don't have anything against it. People can do whatever they want to do. But politically speaking and imprinting the masses, what it's doing is it is opening up. First, remember, it was interracial marriages. Now we've got the gay marriages so that you can marry someone of your own sexual orientation, your own gender. Next thing that's going to happen is going to be group marriages. Now, again, nothing is wrong with any of this. The issue is we want to do the correct thing for the correct reason. And so they're forcing a lot of people to look to different aspects of themselves, to explore different aspects of themselves, but just because they can, not because it necessarily exists within them. So you want to take a look at this and watch these political trends, because you'll find out how they're actually leading the masses into different areas of themselves, which may or may not be appropriate for that particular person. Now, another interesting thing I want to bring to your attention, how many of you saw the picture of the Marines in Afghanistan in front of the flag that they said was a Nazi flag? That was interesting because, let me see here what I've got for you. Here we go. It was interesting because I found this today on the internet that now there is an outpost in Afghanistan called or named Aryan. Now, a lot of people are thinking of the Nazi connotation, Aryan, but however, it says that this was brought forward in the by a commander called William Speaks, which to me I thought that's kind of a made-up name. Perhaps not, but that's what it sounds like to me. And he said that, oh no, the base is not Aryan, it is Arian. Well, Aryan is Aryan. There is still a Nazi connotation going on there, and there is still the picture that was taken of the U.S. Marines in front of the flag that looked like the SS Nazi sign. And here it's quoted as being the infamous paramilitary unit within the Nazi Party. Again, these are keeping the masses open and aware of the Nazi influence. And the last thing that was really interesting in this article, it says the Marine Corps apologized for the incident and they called for an investigation, but none of the individual Marines in the picture were punished. Why would they be punished? If this wasn't anything to be ashamed of, why would that even be mentioned? So I found that to be kind of a bizarre thing. Now, in light of that, how many of you saw the Marines out there ingesting snake blood? Now, that to me was just totally, totally bizarre. These pictures are being splashed all over MSN, NBC, I saw it all over AOL. We have soldiers who are supposedly going through survival training in Thailand, and they are learning how to drink snake blood, and they showed a man ripping the head off of a chicken and holding the two parts and dancing around with the chicken, one in one hand and the head in another hand. And of course people are taking pictures and doing all kinds of things. Why would they do this? And if it's for survival training, why are they making it into something that should be paraded all over the world? Well, I'll tell you why. Because these are things that are going to be happening in your neighborhood. And as bizarre as this sounds, a long time ago it sounded bizarre that women should vote. It sounded bizarre that women should cut their hair or wear pants. All of that was bizarre at one time or another. So as bizarre as some of this sounds to you right now, you keep your eyes open. Think about the vampire movies that are going on out there. And I just heard today on the news that they're thinking about bringing Beetlejuice movies back. This was about a person who was the undead. So all of this is happening, and none of it is going to be bizarre in your near future. So pay attention to these trends. And if you haven't seen those pictures of the Marines out there doing these things, then you be sure, if you do find them, that you put that brown merger symbol up there and your protection. You don't want to be activated by all of that. Now, on the opposite extreme, this was another thing I found interesting. There's a monk's class. Yes, that's correct. Monk. M-O-N-K. A monk class that's taking place at a university, and again, Pennsylvania. They are talking about in this monk's class, which is actually done by a man who says he's both a Buddhist and a Catholic. Where in this class, they choose a certain number of students, depending upon the applications, that must forego all technology, coffee, physical human contact, and specific foods. They have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning without an alarm clock. They have to have a specific dress code. There are white shirts for the men, black shirts for women. They must sit on opposite sides of the class. The women can wear no makeup or hair products or jewelry. I guess now that applies to men as well. Laptops are prohibited. Notes can only be taken with paper and pen. You may not use your cell phone or your email. You may not drink any alcohol. Now this I thought was interesting, and some of you are going to probably be writing in about this, but they also have to swear off vegetables that grow underground because there is a sect of monks who are extremely, they say, non-violent, that believe that when you uproot food from underground, it could kill an insect. Now, I tell all of you, you know what? When you eat vegetables, you are killing a vegetable. You are killing them while they are alive and full of life force. So if you write into me about, oh, you should be a vegetarian and vegetarians are this and vegetarians are that, sorry. When you can see energy fields, then I'll listen to you. But until you can see energy fields like I do and like Stewart does, then we're not paying any attention because we see what happens to people who live only off of vegetables. And we also know that, yes, you too are a killer. So, going back to our monk's class, foods or students can only eat food in natural form, nothing processed. That makes sense. They can't eat when it's dark. They cannot speak to anyone while they eat. They must be celibate. They may not even hug each other. They may not touch each other. They cannot have extended eye contact and not even a handshake. The only technology they are allowed is electric light. News from the outside world is forbidden. Now this I found interesting. Every 30 minutes during their waking hours, they must write in a journal. So I thought that was interesting. How many of you could do that? Now, out of 100 applicants, only 17 agreed to follow these stringent rules. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because of the last sentence. The instructor says, it's not about individual restrictions, it's about building hyper-awareness of yourself and others. Now, I thought that word was interesting, hyper-awareness, because really, we're going from one extreme to another. In one hand, we've got Marines that are killing and ingesting snake blood, and here we have another segment of the population who's doing exactly the opposite, going inside and not having any contact. That is going to reinforce isolation programming on the one hand. However, it is also taking what a lot of people desire or say they desire, which is going inside and becoming hyper-aware of yourself. If you close your eyes, you will find out that you hear more, that you smell more, that you sense more. You develop a hyper-awareness. So if you close your ears and you close off the sound and you visually see things, that will also become hyper-aware. So there are a lot of different things that you can do to increase your sensations and your knowledge about the outer world by going inside. That hyper-awareness, I thought that was interesting. Now, I guess back to the military. One thing to the other. The other thing I found interesting this week on the news is they were talking about allowing humanism as a status of your religious status in the military. Because right now they have dog tags. They state whether they're Jewish or Christian or Catholic or Muslim or whatever their religion is, in case, of course, last rites. They also apparently have the choice of atheist, and of course then there's agnostic. Well, the new trend apparently is to be called humanist. And that means you don't really believe in a supernatural power, but yet you do believe in the ability of people to do well, and you do just the correct thing because that's the correct thing to do, not because there's something supernatural going on. I thought that was interesting because in Dallas this week there's also a little bit of flap going on because there is a humanist billboard that they want to put up. And again, it's calling your attention to something other than traditional religion. And the military, as we all know, is a great place for all kinds of mind control experiments to take place. And speaking again of the military, we do know that the militaries have drones in the skies for international warfare, surveillance, and spying. Now they're also starting to bring those into the U.S. There are police departments who are starting to use the drones. And what are they telling you and why they're using them? They're using them because they want to be able to find crooks out there. They want to use them in hostage situations. And it all sounds perfectly legitimate, and it sounds perfectly legal, and it sounds perfectly innocent. Well, as I say oftentimes, there are a lot of really great people doing a lot of really bad things without realizing what they're doing. And they don't understand how they are creating inroads. Remember the innocent little spy cameras that they have in case of accidents on the four-way intersections, or the surveillance cameras that pointed at ATMs or in banks? Well, as we know, those are being put all through society. This is another way to invade your privacy, whether you like it or not, if you want it to use it correctly. And that would be fabulous. And there are people who've actually invented things with a certain correct way of using something, and it's taken by other people and used against you. So you want to be mindful of what's going on out there and what the trends are. Let's put it that way. It's really what I'm showing you, and what Stewart is taking his time to show you is the trends so that you can be mindful. Again, watch your own mind. Pay attention to what's going on inside of yourself. A hammer attack at Columbine High School. Where have we heard that before? Back in 1999, we had all those deadly shootings going on. Columbine is a word that they seem to keep putting out into our language. And why is that? Do you know what a columbine is? A columbine is actually an herb plant that can be extremely poisonous. So why would they even name a high school that? I don't know. But this high school is living up to its name. A hammer attack by a 14-year-old girl against another girl. Now, why? I don't know. I'm sure it's for no reason at all, because aggression is being stimulated in people, and they are using all kinds of things to attack each other with, kill each other, burn each other up, explode, doesn't matter. And what we saw going on with the Marines, and again, pulling the chickens apart, all these things, it's about bloodletting. It's establishing New World religion. It's about having a lot of sex with a lot of different partners. Everything is going on out there to stir you up, to upset you, to frighten you, to appeal to your most basic instincts, which is fight, flight, survival. All of that is going on right now. And what I would like to implore each and every one of you to do is to spend some time going inside every day and aligning self, oversoul, God, mind. Work on those protection techniques. Know yourself, because when you correct what's inside of you, the outer world will reflect that back and is corrected in addition. That is the message of expansions.com. To find your own personal sense of empowerment, to be the solution. Not just complain and not be afraid, and don't throw sticks at anybody, because everything that exists in the outside world cannot exist unless it exists within each one of us. And if it is out of balance within me or within you, then it's going to be out of balance in the outer world. So the best thing that you can do to make changes so that you're not participating in what's trying to be planned for you is to make a change within yourself that's long-lasting, that's important to you, that you learn to do what is morally correct for the correct reason. And you truly are the only person who knows what is correct for you. I can help you and I can guide you into yourself, but you are the one with your own answers. This society is trying to turn you into something that you're not. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are going that way, because if a group of people say that it's correct, then oftentimes people go with the group. This is what happened in Nazi Germany. How many of you would actually shoot and kill and torture your fellow person? Most of you will not. But for some reason, something happened in Nazi Germany, and they are trying to keep those frequencies alive, and they are trying to attack and trigger each and every person in whatever way that person will allow. They are looking for your weak spots, they will magnify that, and they will try to use it against you. So I invite each of you to find your own weak spots, correct it, balance your mind pattern, do your best with what you have, but always, always self over soul, God, mind, keep that alignment in this society. It's more important than ever. I also invite each of you to support expansions.com. I've said if every one of you would send me just $1 a month, I wouldn't have any issues at all supporting the website. So I appreciate that. And if you can, there's free membership. And beyond that, first level is Violet membership. And in that Violet membership, it is like a mini class, many lessons, where that we write about what is going on with us. We share with you, we invite you to share your thoughts, and we comment. So we instruct in the Violet membership level. Silver membership level gets you the deprogramming journal, plus you can ask whatever questions you want, which we will read every single one, and the ones that are appropriate to the general membership, we will answer. Gold membership gets you videos and lots of other things which we have in store for you. So we have lots of things coming down through the new website. We appreciate you listening to us. We appreciate you taking care of yourself. And we appreciate your financial support, because that allows us to continue supporting you, and the cycle keeps going around. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for working on you. Thank you for supporting expansions.com, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at our events, either our webinars now, which are available online, or here in person in St. Joseph, or when we travel around the world. This is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow for expansions.com. Bye-bye now.